Heart-Mind Coherence with God, Module 4, The Great Awakening, a series inspired by A Course in Miracles and the science of heart-mind coherence. In Module 4 of the Heart-Mind Coherence with God 4-part series, this teaching explores the Great Awakening as a lived, embodied shift into peace, love, and divine alignment. Drawing from A Course in Miracles and the science of heart-mind coherence, this final module reveals how inner peace transforms perception, dissolves fear-based thinking, and allows guidance, synchronicity, and inspired action to flow naturally. A guided meditation supports blessing instead of judgment, sensing the divine in all things, and consciously participating in the Great Awakening through a lived daily practice. Heart-Mind Coherence with God is a 4-part teaching series that explores stillness, awakening, and alignment with divine guidance through the lens of A Course in Miracles and the science of heart-mind coherence. Each module includes reflection and a guided meditation designed to support lived, embodied practice. The Great Awakening and Heart-Mind Coherence with God. What does it mean to be spiritual? What does daily life look like? How do we face our challenges? And when does it get easier? Why is the time now to learn about truly living spiritually? It all comes down to your vibration. What are you projecting outward onto the world? The goal of spirituality is ease of mind and heart for most people. We seek something, a power greater than ourselves, to assist us in our daily living. For others, spirituality is sought to merge with nature and our Creator. But again, this is to create a sense of peace and harmony. In fact, A Course in Miracles states, "This course has explicitly stated that its goal for you is happiness and peace. Forget not that the motivation for this course is the attainment and the keeping of the state of peace." End quote. Once we reach this state of inner peace, there is a shift in the outer world as well. In fact, something miraculous happens. Life seems to become a little easier. Life becomes filled with synchronicities. Life moves out of a state of struggle and into a state of ease. It seems that certain people know some sort of secret that others do not, because good things, good people, and good situations appear to be drawn to these individuals. The bad seems to be physically repelled by their very existence. Yet, the secret is that when you learn to shift into a state of peace, then you are affecting not only your energy, your own inner experience, but also that of all things surrounding you. Your inner world and outer world are deeply connected. And when you come into coherence with the divine, the right things happen at the right time. Divine guidance brings synchronicities, insights, ideas, and aha moments flow to you. To the outside world, you appear to be the luckiest person in the world, and they have no idea that it's because you have come into alignment with your inner world. Now, more than ever, people are feeling called to explore, learn, and grow spiritually. There is literally an entire movement many refer to as the Great Awakening. This change sweeping human consciousness is even referred to in A Course in Miracles. Quote, "There is much to do, and we have been long delayed. Accept the holy instant as this year is born, and take your place so long unfulfilled in the Great Awakening." End quote. So, how do we answer the call? Again, it comes down to the desire for inner peace. We want joy. We want to feel fulfilled and complete. And so far, nothing in this world has brought any of us that in a way we can depend on with certainty. And we are each a channel for God, for He is within every single one of us. With that being said, in order to live so as to demonstrate that we are not an ego and channel God's will, we must shift our mind into coherence with His. And God's mind is always at peace. Peace is the frequency we must tune into in order to channel God's frequency. There are many ways to do this, and I will share a valuable one with you here in this module. First, you must understand that there are no exceptions as to who can learn to shift their energy. No problem is too great, and no pain too deep. Miracles are for everyone. And there is no exception to anyone learning how to hear God's voice, the Holy Spirit, within themselves. Everyone can learn to hear Him and be guided in their daily living, in all their decisions, the large and the small. We can all be guided in everything we do and say. All it takes is learning how to shift into peace. The Course states, quote, "The voice for God is always quiet because it speaks of peace. Peace is stronger than war because it heals." End quote. So now, I will share a statement you can say to yourself that is profoundly simple, but also profoundly powerful. You can use it to shift your mind back into a state of inner peace whenever the world outside you seems to trigger you. It is this: the most powerful cure for a curse is a blessing. What does this mean? And how does it shift you back into a state of peace? I will give you some context, and then you will understand the power behind this idea. You may well wonder, how many people I know that have been cursed that are in need of blessings? Well, the answer is literally everyone. I'm using the word curse in this context for anyone with negative intentions or thoughts toward someone else, including ourselves. We both give and receive such curses all through the day, every day, if you stop to think about it. Take a drive in your car and see how many people you curse with negative thoughts. Just being mildly irritated is sending a negative energy out into the ethers, and we get irritated with people because of how we interpret them and what they seem to be doing. The Course speaks to this as well. Quote, "It is always an interpretation that gives rise to negative emotions, regardless of their seeming justification by what appears as facts. It may be merely slight irritation, perhaps too mild to be even clearly recognized. All of these reactions are the same. They obscure the truth, and this can never be a matter of degree. Who is unaware of truth must look upon illusions." End quote. And so, such behavior and thinking is blocking your joy, your peace, and worst of all, your ability to hear the voice for God, who knows your greatest good and how to manifest it into your physical experience. So how do we cure a curse thought with a blessing? I can tell you what it is not. It is not telling the other person you will pray for them or anything of the like. The blessing must be sincere, heartfelt, with true positive intentions sent out. You must honestly project only the frequency of peace and joy. You must truly wish them the best possible outcome, their highest good and greatest happiness. How does one do this? How do we shift our frequency from irritation, and sometimes abject rage, into wishing only joy for the target of our triggering? Well, I will share the brief story of how this whole understanding of the Great Awakening, miracles, sending curse thoughts, and regaining peace occurred for me. My daughter has a job where she has to get up earlier than anyone else in our household. 2 nights in a row, my husband, her brother, and myself were all being a bit too loud after she had gone to bed, thus waking her. This, of course, made her angry, and the next day I became the target. She angrily let me know how we had all woke her the previous 2 nights. I apologized for this and told her we would all try to remember to be quieter after she goes to bed. However, that did not abate her irritation with me for some reason. The next day after, I could tell by her words and body language she was still quite upset with me personally. I was standing next to her while she was scooping a bowl of ice cream, and she told me to back up because my mere presence was causing her irritation. Okay, I thought, now this is getting unreasonable. I felt triggered by her words, and my own anger was starting to boil up with some not so nice words in response to her. My curse thoughts were becoming activated. But instead, I went still for a moment. I shifted inward just long enough to pause my inner cursing to hear these words from the Holy Spirit. The most powerful cure for a curse is a blessing. My heart instantly let go of all resentment towards my daughter for her apparent unreasonable irritation with me. Then words came out of my mouth, unbidden, uncensored, straight from my heart, to bless her instead of curse her. I took a step back and said, "Well, I only wish the greatest happiness and joy for you." That was it. And I meant it with all my heart and soul. It was truly a sincere blessing filled with all the love I could possibly project outward. And what happened next was a miracle. She paused at my unexpected positive reaction to her negativity, then laughed. Then I laughed too. We laughed together over my words because my response to her was in such great contrast to her irritation that it revealed the absurdity of the situation. And it was funny. And that was the end of our mutual irritation and anger towards each other. It had completely dissipated. The ordeal was over, just like that, in a single holy instant. Now, this was a small example, but you get the point. What's really happening is you are sending the other person love, and this blessing truly is the most powerful cure for any form of negativity or curse thought. Do this whenever you notice your negative thoughts going out cursing people within your mind. There is a simple phrase or sentence you can direct towards anyone you feel is casting negative vibes your way. You should also send this blessing or curse cure to yourself whenever you catch your mind having negative, self-depreciating thoughts about you. Simply say, with utmost sincerity and heartfelt energy, "My only wish for you is perfect happiness." And that is it. Your energy will shift into coherence with God's thoughts, and you will be co-creating with our Creator. You will enter into an awakened awareness of the self. You will have stepped aside into the observer position and allowed God to step forward into your energy field to bring you your greatest joy and most abundant existence, both inside and out. you step into your role as creator of a new reality, as part of the Great Awakening. But always remember, you have to feel the sincerity of the words within your heart and mind, or the energy will not have power. It will not be authentic and will not have any healing effect. It is said, where your thoughts go, energy flows. Where do you want your energy to go? What thought messengers do you want to send out and be reflected back to yourself? Everything you experience reflects an aspect of your inner state of mind, the energy you are putting out into the field of existence to bring you the experiences your thoughts are asking for. A Course in Miracles states, quote, "Fear and love make or create, depending on whether the ego or the Holy Spirit begets or inspires them, but they will return to the mind of the thinker and they will affect his total perception." End quote. So, to ensure we only ask for our highest good, we must become vigilant over our thoughts. We must learn to sense the energy of God within all things, which is to use our Christ vision rather than perceiving the physical form itself. Christ vision equals God consciousness equals awakened mind. Thoughts plus belief equal manifestation. Using heart-mind coherence through Christ vision will bring into your physical experience only what is aligned with God's will for your happiness, for you. You move into heart-mind coherence with God's will by extending only loving thoughts to those you encounter or think of. You gain faith and belief in the manifesting power of love through sensing the divine within all people and situations. This, in turn, creates a physical experience of loving outcomes, which you know are real, which in turn reinforces your faith and belief in love. And the creative power of love is magnified when you join your loving thoughts, beliefs, and heartfelt feelings with two or more. We will do this in the meditation shared at the end of this module. Jesus himself tells us in Matthew 18:19 of the Bible, quote, "Again, truly I tell you that if two of you or more on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." Quote, end quote. Jesus was explaining the greatness of the power of combining our will with God's will, our God-given power to create. And all it takes is changing your cursed thoughts to a blessing of love. And it takes a shift in perception. Do you see a body and all its works, or do you see a spark of the divine walking beside you? A Course in Miracles states, quote, "You see the flesh or recognize the spirit. On this one choice does all your world depend, for here have you established what you are, as flesh or spirit, in your own belief. Salvation does not ask that you behold the spirit and perceive the body not. It merely asks that this should be your choice. The truth in you remains as radiant as a star, as pure as light, as innocent as love itself." End quote. And when we decide for love and see only the light extending our blessing to all in whom we meet or think of, we have released them unto God, as He created them, and not as our ego would have them be, and all will be healed within and without. The Course states, quote, "All that is given to you is for release. The sight, the vision, and the inner guide all lead you out of hell with those you love beside you and the universe with them. behold your role within the universe. To every part of true creation has the Lord of love and life entrusted all salvation from the misery of hell. The holy ones whom God has given you to save are but everyone you meet or look upon, not knowing who they are. All those you saw an instant and forgot, and those you knew a long while since, and those you will yet meet, the unremembered and the not yet born. For God has given you his Son to save from every concept that he ever held. End quote. And so it is. We claim our place among the messengers of God, joining his will for us to be nothing but as we were created, happy, loving, and loved, living lives of peace, abundance, and contentment. However, this mindset is a constant challenge to maintain, which is why every moment of every day we must practice it to learn it until it becomes our automatic reaction to any circumstance. And so, I introduce to you the practice of heart-mind meditation with God. So, to help you learn this mindset, I will now share with you a guided meditation I use almost daily to set my energy into heart-mind coherence with God. Use this to consciously, fully participate in the great awakening and to manifest your highest good, your best possible outcome to all things, and allow abundance in all forms to come into your experience. Let us begin with this affirmation. We join now with all those who will to will God's will on earth as it is in heaven. We consciously choose to align our inner state, thoughts, and emotions with peace in order that only the highest outcome becomes our outer experience. Thus, reality will mirror our elevated inner vibration. Now, sit comfortably, become conscious of your breathing, quiet your mind by affirming, now I am entering a state of peace and openness to God's divine light. Now allow yourself to settle. Find a comfortable position, seated or resting. Let the body soften. Let the breath slow. Let the mind become quiet. There is nowhere you need to go. Nothing you need to become. Simply be. Take a slow, gentle breath in. And as you exhale, release the weight of the world. Again, inhale peace. Exhale striving. And one more time, inhale. Allow the body and mind to come into rest. Exhale and bring awareness to your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, its quiet strength, its natural openness. This is the place where God's voice is heard, not in words, but in peace. Allow a feeling of blessing to arise, not toward anyone specific yet, just the feeling itself, a sincere wish for happiness, for peace, for wholeness. Let this feeling fill your heart. Now, gently extend this blessing outward, quietly and from the elevated place of being merely an observer. Reflect on all those things in your life you wish were different. Think of any people and actions taken by them or yourself, and what, if anything, you wish were healed or improved. Think of any life situations you currently find yourself in, and any aspects, great or small, you would like to change for the better. Think of the world, all the people you know and do not know, who need a blessing similar to your own. Without judgment, silently offer, "My only wish for you is perfect happiness." Do not force emotion. Allow sincerity to guide you. Notice how the heart responds. Now extend this blessing further to strangers, to situations, to the world itself. Let the blessing move through you naturally, effortless, unconditional, free. As you bless, feel how peace returns to you, magnified. This is heart-mind coherence. This is Christ vision. You are no longer reacting to appearances. You are sensing the light beneath all form. Now, I want you to sense a light within you. This light is your essence, yourself as God created you, the self that remains connected to God at all times. It is who you are in truth. This light is your entire being, not your body. See this light pervade the space where your body currently rests. See it beginning to emanate outward into the world. Watch how it expands beyond the body, reaching outward in all ways, encompassing every situation, person, and circumstance that concerns you in any negative way at all. As you encounter each situation, person, or circumstance, watch how the outer physical representation fades or melts away, falling into nothingness. What is left behind now is simply light. The truth of what lay within all things, people, and situations. Join your light with the light of what you are focused on. The situation, people, or circumstances that may be troubling you. Let this light touch all people, all places, all situations, without exception. The world rests in this light. You are not changing the world by force. You are allowing love to be extended through you. This is the Great Awakening. Not dramatic, not loud, but quiet, steady, and sure. Rest here for a few moments. Now you have joined as God would have us joined, in heart-mind coherence with each other and with Him. And where two or more are joined in His name, it will be done for them by God Himself. And what love you project outward will be reflected back to you, magnified by God's love. So, let us now magnify God's love to the maximum level we can possibly conceive of it. Let us extend God's love to all creation so that all creation can reflect such love back to us in order that we all collectively experience our greatest good, highest outcome, and maximum abundance in all possible ways. Watch now as your light continues to expand to include everything on the planet, living and non-living. Allow your light to encompass every single person without judgment, melting away the physical form and joining with their light. Now you see the whole planet engulfed in your loving light. Earth radiates outward with brilliant rays, beaming into the galaxy, reaching untold places, planets, and civilizations. You ride this light, joining with it, extending and twined with it, loving all creation joined in will with God's will to love all creation. Allow gratitude to fill your heart for the magnitude of God's love. You have given a great gift. Now, trust in the love you have given and its power to bring peace and healing to all events, individuals, and situations as dispersed to them by God. Trust in the gift of love you have extended. Allow God to dispense it and do not try to control outcomes, for it is no longer in your hands. Release all worry and fear. A Course in Miracles states, quote, "It is not the function of God's teachers to evaluate the outcome of their gift. It is merely their function to give them. Once they have done that, they have also given the outcome, for that is part of the gift. No one can give if he is concerned with the result of giving. That is a limitation on the giving itself, and neither the giver nor the receiver would have the gift. Trust is an essential part of giving. In fact, it is the part that makes sharing possible, the part that guarantees the giver will not lose, but only gain." End quote. Place your hand over your heart and say, "Thank you, Creator, for such a beautiful unfolding of your love." Now, let go of all assumptions about how your greatest good, highest outcome to all things, and maximum abundance will unfold for you. For you do not know. You cannot even conceive of how such things will manifest. For the doing of miracles belongs to God. Surrender to the how and the when. Say to yourself, I surrender control to you, God. I trust in your perfect timing. You have now moved into effortless creation and heart-mind coherence with God. You are in a flow state of being. And from within this state of mental clarity and allowance for all possibilities, you must listen to your inspiration as to what action you need to take within the physical world towards your greatest good. It may be to simply rest, wait, and be calmly patient. It may be to act on a synchronicity that shows up. It may be to connect with nature, another person, or yourself in a positive, loving way. Remember this: spend as much time sensing the light of God within all things as often as you can throughout each day, even if only for a moment. When you do this sensing exercise, you are not engaged with your ego mind, the past, or the future. You are wholly aligned with the present moment. You are aligned with God, whose only will for you is happiness. And you will be an active participant in the Great Awakening. When you are ready, gently return awareness to the breath. To the body, to the present moment. Carry this blessing with you. Let it be your response when the world triggers you. Let it guide your thoughts. Let it shape your perception. And know this: each time you choose blessing over judgment, you participate in the Great Awakening. Thank yourself for this moment of alignment. You are part of the awakening you seek.